Hi everybody, welcome to Brain Purge. It's your host Donovan, so thanks for joining me today on the show. It's early for me, it is almost 8 in the morning, I haven't gone to bed yet. Yes, I am a night owl, needless to say. You should know that by now if you listen to my show ever. And I'm just sort of talking because I wanted to get some things off my chest, just talk about some things to come to mind, whatever. Nothing really important, just yakking as usual on Brain Purge, just talking about whatever comes to mind. So yesterday I did a show with Jason Dotley. Jason Dotley is the star of the show, cult classic really, TV series and play called Sordid Lives. And we did this interview on the other show that I'm on, The Crew. If you don't know about The Crew Show, be sure to go to thecrewshow.net and check us out there. You can actually hear the interview with Jason Dotley there if you're interested. And it's with myself and Ken Boggle from the Ken Boggle Show and David from the 5x5 show. So it's just three gay guys talking about whatever's on our mind. So check us out there. Also, if you want to know more about me specifically, you can go to offlimitsshow.com and check me out there and read my blog and, hear shows, archives, whatever. You can also, of course, hear me on Spreaker.com, on Stitcher.com, also on iTunes Radio, and anywhere else you can find me on the net, so feel free. I'm still getting over a cold. I feel a lot better. I don't sound great, but I feel a lot better. I still have a bit of a cough, a lingering cough. Excuse me, as you can see, and a little congestion. But I'm not like I was. Like I couldn't even barely function, Monday and Tuesday. So I feel a lot better today. So that's good. There was this interesting thing that I posted earlier on my Facebook page. By the way, check me out on Facebook and Twitter as well if you're interested. And it was about anxiety, and I suffer from anxiety. I don't suffer from it the way I did when I was in my early 20s, where I actually had to be on medication for about 6 months. But I do have anxiety occasionally, social anxiety disorder to a small degree. It was very, very bad when I was in a certain period of time in my life in my mid-20s. But excuse me, I've since come over it since then. But it's really funny. If you have an anxiety issue or ever have had one, 26 problems only anxious people will understand. Number 1, if you hear any kind of noise in your house whatsoever, you become convinced that you're about to be murdered. That's so true. I am so much like that. Like if the alarm goes off because, Michael comes home or something and he forgets to disarm it or something before time, or before he comes in the door or something and it goes off, like the sirens go off and it alerts the police and everything, I freak out and I just look frozen for a second before I move and figure out what's going on. But I always am convinced that's going to happen, and I've always had this fear of that. But good thing I have a gun, right? So anyway, sorry. Number 2, even if you checked roughly 7 times, you're never ever really sure if you locked a door. Did I remember to lock the front door? Did I lock the door or didn't I lock the door? That happens to me too. Number 3, if someone takes more than 5 minutes to accept your Facebook friend's request, it means they hate you. Oh my God, what's the problem? What did I do? Oh my God, what are they waiting for? Oh my God, oh my God. Number 4, whenever somebody tells you that they don't have to wait, or they tells you you have to wait and be patient, this is how you'd like to respond. Fuck you. Number 5, the answer to this question, and you just seeing it makes you anxious. Are you afraid of the dark? Number 6, people often call you a pessimist, and it irks you that they are so very right. Number 7, you overthink everything in general. For example, have a mildly positive encounter with a stranger, then replays the conversation over in head for hours. Number 8, people always try to make you feel better, but their concern only makes things worse. When somebody says, you're like telling somebody your issue or something you're anxious about, and they're like, oh, everything will be fine. Everything's okay. That is nice for them to say that, but it's really not helpful because it really kind of belittles your feelings. Because when someone's saying to you, oh, everything's going to be fine, when you're saying, oh my God, I'm so freaked out, what's going to happen, da-da-da, well, that's like saying whatever you're thinking is invalid and it doesn't matter. So that's why a lot of times it pisses people off who have anxiety issues to hear that. Number 9, spontaneity isn't your thing at all. And that's true. I mean, I can be spontaneous to some degree, and I am spontaneous to some degree. But if, like, somebody says, let's go to this party, you know, I can just get up and go to the party. I have to go take a shower, shave, moisturize, get dressed in my hair, figure out what I'm going to wear, and then prepare myself mentally to go to a party or whatever. Number 10, you have a checklist of things you're sure you forgot to do, even though you probably didn't. That's true. Number 11, sending a text and not hearing back immediately can make you feel like the world is ending. Number 12, but when they finally respond, it's like the angels are singing just to you. Number 13, the idea of meeting new people should be fun, but it isn't. That's true. I mean, I love meeting new people. I actually do, on one level, love meeting new people. But on another level, it does scare me to death because I am so anxious about things. I do have social anxiety issues to some small degree. Not like I used to, but I still get a little bit of a tinge in my stomach when I have to meet new people or a group of people I've never met before. But whereas before, when I had major issues with it in my 20s, I wouldn't go. I'd avoid those kinds of things at all. Or I would go and I wouldn't go inside. I mean, really horrible things like that I would do. Now I just do it anyway, for the most part, even if I feel uncomfortable, and I still push through it, and usually it works out just fine. I'm happy I did go. Number 14, and seeing someone you weren't expecting to see will damn near give you a nervous breakdown. Yeah, you know, like you're out at the mall or like shopping or something, grocery shopping or whatever, and then you run into somebody you haven't seen in like 10 years, like an ex-boyfriend or an old friend or something, and you didn't get along with them, or it ended badly, and you run into each other. Like, what do you say? Or if it didn't fine, and you're still friendly to some degree, and you look like crap because you weren't expecting to see them or whatever. That's why I always look my best when I go in public. I mean, every once, very rarely will I go out in public unless I'm really feeling really sick or something, and not look my best, because I'm totally like Joan Crawford like that. Because she would never go in public without all of her makeup on and dressed to the nines, you know, because she was a star and people expected her to look a certain way and she didn't want to disappoint them. And I don't do it for that reason, but I do that because I don't want to ever be caught off guard looking like fucking crap. Okay, because that's the exact moment when you do run into someone that you know or didn't want to see or whatever. So I certainly make a point of that. Number 15, even small things like checking the mail seem to fill you with dread, because what if there's a letter here for you and you're going to jail or it's bad news? Oh my God. Number 16, going to the doctor is always fun, because even if there's nothing wrong with you, you'll find something. The doctor sometimes will just tell you, you're fine, this is fine, whatever, and you're like, well, what about this, what about that, da-da-da-da. Are you sure? Should you do more tests? And to some degree, that could be a good thing, because you should never rely on your doctor to always know everything, because doctors don't know everything, that's for sure. But it is important that you don't like become a hypochondriac, obviously. Number 17, missing a call from an unknown number will fill you with dread the rest of the day. Number 18, when your boss asks you to see you in their office, it's obviously because they're about to fire you. Number 19, if you're being asked to make a speech, you will stress about it before, during, and after. That's very true. That's very, very true. There's only a few more. There's 6 more left. Number 20, if your car makes a weird noise, you take it in immediately because it's about to explode. Number 21, certain TV shows are basically off limits because you tend to relate to them yourself. The elimination round, American's Next Top Model, makes me break out in a sweat and forget trying to watch an episode of The Doctors. I have all these things they're talking about, says somebody. That's funny. Number 22, when you hear that someone else was super successful by the time they were younger than you, it makes you question everything about your life choices. That's a little true. I mean, I'm competitive to some way, and I see people like, especially like huge stars and stuff who are like 19, 20 years old, and they've got billions of dollars, and they've already reached the pinnacle of success, and I am 38 years old, and I'm successful in my career, but I'm not like I'm not famous or anything and billionaire. So, I mean, you know, it does get sort of annoying. Number 23, you automatically assume that other people's passive-aggressive tweets are about you. Oh, well, yes. And this has happened to me lately. Some people, I've been tweeting things, you know, and people are like, oh my God. And somebody actually told me somebody was crying because I had said something about them. And I was like, what are you talking about? And I said, this is all I said about that person. And they're like, no, you said this, and that. And I said, that is not about them. I was talking about a gay person, not about this person. Anyway, I'm going to go into details. But I was like, you know, to assume that everything somebody writes is about you is just kind of narcissistic anyway. Number 24, you know that you spend too much time stressing about things, and so does everyone else around you. And number 25, and even though it sometimes feels like all of your anxiety is going to make you explode someday, number 26, at least you know this to be true. The next time you feel down, just remember that Bruce Banner tried to kill himself, and Tony Stark has anxiety attacks, and they both saved the world. You will be okay. So I thought that was really cool, because if you do have an anxiety issue, or if you've ever had one, you definitely can relate to most or all of those things. I certainly can, and I certainly know, what it's like to be on the end of that. So I watched American Horror Story Coven. I love that show, as you know. Every time I watch that show, every episode gets better and better and better. I say this every time because it's so true. It never fucking ever disappoints me. Ever. It's such a fucking good show. I love it. It's so fucking amazing. Can I say that enough times? It's so fucking amazing. So this week's episode was awesome. Queenie was a bad bitch and is doing voodoo and everything now. She's with Angela Bassett's character's side, and we thought Fiona was going to be dead, and apparently she's not, of course. It just I can't even go into it without telling you the whole show, but it was amazing, and every episode gets better. And so I keep telling people they need to make that its own show, because the thing about American Horror Story is that every season is its own storyline. So like the first season was about a haunted house, the second season was about an insane asylum, and this season is about a coven of witches. And let me get a drink real quick. And so so that's the way they did it every season. So at the end of the season, that's the end of the story. And I like that they do it that way. But I've never seen an entire season that I was so enthralled by until this one. I mean, I've loved all of them, and I've been enthralled by all of them, but I mean, so enthralled by it that I wanted to see an actual continuation of the series, and this would be it. This series is so fucking good. And some people love it, some people hate it. My friend Ken Boggle, who I do the show on The Crew with, he hates it. He says it's a horrible show and disgusting because there's rape in it and things like that have happened. I mean, one episode had rape in it. I mean, so I guess the whole show's about rape, but anyway, whatever. But he's very prudish about things that way, and he has his opinion, he's entitled to it, but I disagree with him very much about many things. But I think that it's a great show. It's explores the dark side of things, explores human nature, and it explores triumph and overcoming, and I think it has a lot of great themes and subtexts to it, and I think it's a brilliant show. So if you've never seen Coven, the American Horror Story Coven, you definitely need to watch it. It's a fucking amazing show. And then, there was this funny thing that, by the way, I may be having an interview with somebody that some of you, especially if you're gay, will definitely know. But I'm not gonna talk about it until it actually happens. So until I get actual confirmation back about it. I've done a few celebrity interviews in my life, and I've interviewed Margaret Cho twice in the past 10 years, and I've interviewed Sarah Benincasa, Chad Allen, and then there's a couple other people that I'm about. Jason Dotley now, but I'm about to interview someone else, hopefully. So I'll let you know if that turns out. But it would be a really fun interview and a lot of fun to get to know this person better. So hopefully that'll happen. And then also in the future, for early next year, there's supposed to be. I'm talking to this person's rep. And I'm not telling anybody who it is because it is a huge person, and I
am was told that this is going to happen in the spring. So when they are promoting something specific, so hopefully I'll be able to have that person on my show and interview them, talk about a lot of listeners on that show. It would be like a huge get. I mean, and I would love to talk to this person. This person I adore and love. Anyway, so I'll let you know if that turns out, because if it does, it'll be fucking fabulous. So I also want to talk about on Brain Purge today. There's this new Wonder Woman, apparently. Yeah, they're doing that movie, Batman versus Superman or whatever, that's coming out in 2015, I think, or next year. And they've cast this new woman that I've never heard of. I can't remember her name. I'm sorry, I should have it in front of me, but I don't. For the role. And she's really beautiful. But I was just thinking, Wonder Woman, when I watched Wonder Woman when I was a kid, Linda Carter was, of course, Wonder Woman, the original. And, one second. And so, of course, I identify her always as Wonder Woman. I never can really see anybody else in the role but her. But, I'm open-minded, and I would love to see Wonder Woman back on the big screen again, or in the small screen in some way. And they did a pilot for Wonder Woman for the television series, and it didn't get picked up or whatever. And they spent a lot of money on it. It didn't get picked up. It looked okay. And they've tried to do Wonder Woman several times previously, and just never really works out. They never really find the right person. So I hope this person's the right person, and then after the Wonder Woman comes on that movie, then they can turn that into a franchise of its own. Because I love Wonder Woman. What gay man doesn't love Wonder Woman? Come on. I love Wonder Woman. With her satin tights, fighting for our rights, for the red, white, and blue. Come on. How can you not love her? And she was so gorgeous. I mean, gorgeous. I mean, Linda Carter was just beautiful. She's still beautiful. If you've seen her, I saw her on The View not too long ago. I think it was about 2 or 3 months ago. And actually, when Jenny McCarthy started on The View, one of her idols is Wonder Woman. And so she was on there to meet her. Anyway, so she met her on there. She still looks gorgeous, and she's probably had a little work done, but not like like Madonna, or I mean not Madonna, like Joan Rivers or something. I'm looking at a poster of Madonna, that's why I said that. So I mean, it's not like she looks like a completely different person, but she looks really refreshed and still really young looking for her age. But she's beautiful, and I always thought she was a gorgeous woman, and I think she, whoever plays her has some big shoes to fill. I saw this meme. I was going to go through some internet memes that I have seen lately, and I love these. If you don't know what an internet meme is, it's like a little, those little sayings or those little boxes or whatever that you'll see like on your Facebook or something. Somebody posts, it's like a picture that says something or has text on it or whatever. That's an internet meme. If you didn't know, that's what that's called. So anyway, one of them I saw says liberal because militant, fundamentalist, xenophobic corporate oligarchy just wasn't working for me. Thank you. Never could have said it better myself. I mean, come on. And then, and I don't know if I talked about this already. I think I did talk about it, but I'll say it real quick one more time. I did that test on Facebook or whatever, some site, BuzzFeed.com actually. What pink lady are you? And I got Rizzo. You're not mean, you are just misunderstood. You're also not afraid to speak your mind, and sometimes that makes those around you feel threatened. That is so true. And my friend Ken Boggle got, what's the chick's name he got? Not Frenchie. Oh my God. The girl, the dark hair, I can't remember her name now, but he got her. Anyway, so then we have, what other memes do we have on here? I'm trying to see. I don't see any more really. Hold on. Oh, by the way, when I'm looking for this, when I was talking to Jason Daughtry when we were talking to him on the show, he's a really cool guy. I liked him a lot, but he loves Madonna too. And so, see, between David, Ken, and myself on the cruise show, they don't like Madonna, and Ken Boggle and I got in a huge argument over her and whatever. And you can listen to that show. Actually, it's called The Great Madonna Debate on Spreaker, or you can listen to it on our website, thecruiseshow.net. So you can listen to it in any of those places. But anyway, what was I going to say? So he loves Madonna too, so that was fantastic. So I had somebody on my side, thank God. And he was saying, if you say anything bad about her, watch out. So I understand. Thank God he gets it. All right, so hold on. Okay, so try not to cough in your ear as I continue to get over my cold. So there was this, I posted this on the 12th of November. I thought it'd be interesting to read it real quick. Ken at Boggle had asked me to post 16 things about myself that you may or may not know. So if you're not on my Facebook page, you may not have heard what I said. And these are the things, 16 things you may or may not know about me. And some of the things are obvious and that you already know for sure. And some of the things you probably don't know at all. But I didn't share a whole lot about myself. I just kind of shared some topical, superficial things because I didn't really want to share 16 very personal things about myself. I shared maybe one or two very personal things in this list. So here are the 16 things that you may or may not know about me, your host, Donovan, of the Off Limits Show. Number 1, I am an architect. Number 2, I am an interior designer. Number 3, I am a realtor. Number 4, I am gay. Number 5, I am biracial. Number 6, I am not Hispanic. Number 7, I am not Middle Eastern. Number 8, I am not a millionaire. Number 9, I drive a BMW. Number 10, I am married. Number 11, my 12th great-grandmother directly is the mother of the Queen of England, married to James IV, and grandmother of almost all the royal family. I am related to King Henry VIII, Queen Elizabeth I and II, and Laura Bush is my 9th cousin. Number 12, I love fine food. Number 13, I love Hugo Boss and Dolce & Gabbana. Number 14, Number 14, I'm hung like a horse. Number 15, I am someone that you don't want as an enemy. Number 16, I am someone that will be a loyal friend for life if you don't fuck it up first. So these are things about me. So let's go over those things real quick. Just to give you a little more detail about each of those real quick. So first one, I'm an architect. Yeah, so I actually studied for my master's in architecture degree in architecture. It's just called an MArch degree, which is an accredited. My degree is an accredited one, which is accredited by NCARB. And so anytime I want to be licensed in the state, I can be licensed in the state. The only reason I'm not is because I never worked for anybody besides myself. And in order to get licensed in the state of Texas, you have to actually work for someone else. But in any other state, I could automatically go and sit for the exam immediately, like California, not any other state, but like California, New York, any major state or whatever. Texas is fucking stupid. But anyway, that's that. Number 2, I'm an interior designer. Yes, I'm also an interior designer. I was that before I was an architect, and I actually have been doing that for many years. And the difference, by the way, between an interior designer and interior decorator is this: an interior decorator, which I am not. Interior decorator is someone who goes in and paints, gives you paint colors. And drapery types and window coverings and fabrics and sofas and stuff like that, soft furnishings, whatever, and then maybe some lamps or stuff. That's pretty much what in rugs. That's what they deal with. What an interior decorator deals with is the ornamentation of a space. They go in and make things look pretty. That's all they do. Okay. An interior designer, however, is someone who also deals with the wall structures, the actual structure of the house or the building. Also does electrical plans, and any other kind of technical stuff like that, and also has a degree in interior, a bachelor's degree at least, in interior design or interior architecture and design. So that's why I'm also an interior designer. Number 3, I'm also a realtor. I've been a realtor for many years as well. I do that simply on the side because it's fun. Number 4, I'm gay. I think you all know that already. Not really much else to say about that. Number 5, I'm biracial. My mother is German and Dutch descent. My father is of African descent. Number 6, I'm not Hispanic. I said that because people always think I'm Hispanic. Even though I'm half black and half white, people always think I'm Hispanic or Middle Eastern. And I'm neither. And so that gets really, really frustrating when you're out somewhere and someone starts saying, hola, ¿cómo estás? I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you're saying. I'm sorry. I don't know what you're saying. And sometimes I can actually understand Spanish, but excuse me, but it just annoys me that people think I'm Hispanic, because I'm not. If I were, it'd be fine, but I'm not. I wish people would think I am what I am, which is biracial, but they never do. And I'm also not Middle Eastern, so when I get on a plane, sometimes people look at me and think that I'm Middle Eastern, they get very, or whatever. And my bags just get checked a lot more when we had 9/11, because people thought I was Middle Eastern. So I get mistaken all the time for those things. Number 8, I'm not a millionaire. No, I'm not a millionaire yet. I will be by the time I'm 45, but not yet. But anyway, I'm on my way. Number 9, I drive a BMW. I say that because I am a huge BMW enthusiast. That brand of car is one of my favorite brands in the world because there are a few brands that actually stand up to the reputation, and the BMW does. Now, there'll always be an occasional lemon or something. I'm sure someone's ever had a bad experience with a BMW before in their life, but I've had an incredible experience with mine that I've had, and I love them. And it's a really great brand, and the reason I love it is because, the actual slogan for BMW is the ultimate driving machine. And the reason that I agree with that is because, to me, a BMW is meant to be driven. Okay. It's not like it's not comfortable to ride in as well. It's just that it is a driver's car. When you get in a BMW, you drive that car. It is made so that you can feel connected to the road. You feel like you're in control. The wheel turns. It's tight. It's got, it's sporty. It's a driver's car. I don't know how else to explain it. It's because people who like to actually drive buy BMWs, whereas people who like to ride or have some just buy things for status symbols or whatever will buy a Mercedes or I don't know, Cadillac or some crappy car like that. So there's a big difference, and I don't know how else to explain it unless you've experienced it, but that's why I love BMW. Number 10, I am married. I've been married since 2009. No, yes, 2009. No, 2000. Yeah. Yes, but we've been together for 7 years. So I'll often say we've been married for 7 years because I just say that because I forget. We've been together for 7 years, but we've been married since 2009, but together for 7. Number 11. Oh yeah, my genealogy. So I traced my genealogy back. I've been working my genealogy since 1998, and with help with Ancestry.com and working with other people and genealogists and things like that over the past, how many years that's been. I've traced all my family back, and with with definitive results. And I know for a fact that I'm directly related to the people I mentioned earlier, and the royal family, and blah 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 blah. And the funniest thing about that is, to me, and when I found this out, it cracked me up because I didn't expect that at all. Right? I thought I'd just be related to nobody. Right? But I really, honestly, it cracks me up because all my life, people have judged me because of how I look, and they look down on me if you're a racist or you're from the South, generally speaking, because they look down on me and think that my family probably... I've actually been told that once before because somebody thought I was Hispanic, and, thought that I'd only been here, my family just must have crossed over the border or something just in a year or two ago, or before I was born or something. That's the kind of ridiculous shit people say because they think I'm Mexican or whatever, or Hispanic, and I'm not. And then people look at me because I have an olive complexion and think, don't know really where I'm from, but they don't think that I actually have royal blood, and I do. And so it just cracks me up. So whenever people talk down to me or say things like that or think things like that, I know how long my family has been here in America. I have ancestors that were on the Mayflower. John Arlington was his name. And through a different line, but the same, on my mom's side. And then I have family that actually was related to the same family I just mentioned before, the royal families, and that we know in England, So I have a lot of royal blood, a lot of blue blood, and I also could be a son of the revolution if I wanted to be. What the fuck is it called? American, I can't remember. I can apply for that. I can't remember what it's called. When you are a direct descendant of someone who fought the American Revolution, sorry. I can apply for that because I actually have ancestry who was in that. So not only am I a patriot, I'm also fucking American through and through. On both sides of my family, my mom's side and my dad's side, I've been here for a very long time. And so I am a fucking American, and I am a fucking royal, and I'm fucking a patriot. So fuck you, people who look down on me, because I'm fucking great. Fuck you. Number 12, I love fine food. It is so true that I love fine food. I love good, real cuisine. And it's really rare that I find people who really share my love for food. Now, when I say that, I mean, look, there's a huge difference, and I know when I was in college, like when I was at SMU when I was 19, my sophomore year, and I remember I went to this place called Campese's here in Dallas, and actually was owned by Jack Ruby in the 50s and 60s. It was called the Egyptian Room or something. It was a nightclub where it's located now, Anyway, so Campese's is this Italian place. And so I went there. I remember going there my sophomore year, and I was eating there, and a friend of mine took me, and I was like, oh my God, this is the best Italian food I've ever had in my whole life. Oh my God, I've never had better Italian food than this. I just ran on and on about it. And then, it's funny, I went back to Campese's a couple times, actually, years later, about 5 years ago, I guess. The food is disgusting. Why would I think that it was good? It wasn't fine cuisine anyway. It was just regular, sloppy Italian food, greasy Italian food, right? It was nothing special. But what I realized is that my palate has been refined through many years of eating better food and eating around the world and eating in different locations and different types of food and different ethnicities, types of cuisine, So for me, it's been an evolution. And so now when I eat crappy food, I really notice the difference. And the difference is always based on ingredients and cooking methods and things like that. And so if I go to a really fine restaurant, I just am in heaven. I love to have wine, and I love to have, I have 4 or 5 courses and really enjoy the food. So when I eat, I savor my food. I don't just slop it down, And I know I have a friend whose name Ken, not Ken Boggle, a different Ken, that I'm good friends with, who just literally inhales his food all the time. And he's kind of a foodie too. He likes to eat food, but he just literally eats his food like crazy. Literally, when I'm about a third done, he's done. And so he just really inhales his food. And so I'm like, how can you enjoy a meal if you don't enjoy it? And so I savor every flavor. I detect every flavor, whatever's in the food, I really try to enjoy it, because to me food is just fantastic, and I just love food, and so I love it. Excuse me, sorry. I love Italian food. Obviously, I love Indian food. Oh my God, I love Indian food. I love any kind of spicy food. I love Thai food. I love seafood. I love. There's no food I don't like, generally speaking, except sushi. I have a California roll here and there, but I won't have actual sashimi or whatever it's called. I won't have raw tuna or whatever. Generally, I no. Sorry. It's not for me. But other than that, there's pretty much nothing that I won't eat if it's done right or well, And then I have on here, I love Hugo Boss, number 13. I love Hugo Boss and Dolce & Gabbana. So, Hugo Boss is a great brand for me. Hugo Boss generally it's a high-end brand, and it's generally for men who are taller and broader shouldered. And I have very broad shoulders. It's actually, my shoulders are so broad that it's hard for me sometimes to find clothes that fit, because they'll fit. If I get a large, then it fits me in my waist and my side and everything else, but at the top on my shoulders, it's really tight. And so if I get an extra large, it fits my shoulders, but then it's really, really loose everywhere else. And if I get a medium, it's really tight in the middle, and it's hard for me to move in the top. So it's sometimes difficult for me to find clothes. And so the reason that I find a brand and stick to it a lot of times is because they, down the line, kind of have things made that way. So Hugo Boss and Dolce & Gabbana both are generally made for men who are taller, 6 foot or higher, usually taller, and also broader shouldered. They're more made for more Italian and European type cuts and things like that. So whether it's their suits or whether it's their pret-a-porter, their ready-to-wear stuff, it's made more for guys like me and not for skinny twinkie guys, that would be Kenneth Cole. I have some of the stuff, but mostly Kenneth Cole. You think rail thin guys wearing all black and whatever emo type stuff. Sort of. That's more like that kind of look, and that's not. And so those kind of clothes, I can wear them, but they don't look great on me because they don't fit my shoulders. Anyway, and then number 14. Oh God, sorry. Number 14. I am hung like a horse. So it's true. I have a huge dick, and I've had one since I can remember. I didn't know it was huge until first time I had sex with someone, and he was older than me, and I was like, he was like, oh yeah, you're really well hung. And I was like, oh, okay. And then as I got older, I began to realize that it was true. And so, you know, whenever I was having sex with guys, whether it was on top or bottom, but if I was on top, a lot of guys would be afraid and would not want me to fuck them because they were afraid of me hurting. But once it was in there, they were very happy. But and then other guys were size queens and loved it no matter what. So they were just going all crazy on it. So anyway, I'm happy that I am, and I'm happy that I'm blessed that way. Probably, I've always said that I'm black below the waist because my dad's black, so I guess that's where it comes from. So I'm happy about that. Number 15, I am someone you don't want as an enemy. Now, just because I don't like you or don't talk to you does not make you my enemy, by the way. If you're someone I don't talk to anymore or I don't necessarily like anymore, it doesn't make you my enemy. What I mean by enemy is someone who's truly an enemy, who's done me wrong and really dirty and just fucked me over or something, like certain people we all know. So that's an enemy to me. That's completely different than just someone I don't talk to anymore that I've decided not to be friends with or decided to remove from my life because they're toxic or a liar or fake or whatever. That's not what I'm talking about. So if you are someone who's on the wrong side of me, though, and you are someone I consider my enemy, I am truly, truly not someone you want as your enemy, because I will actually hunt you down and, proverbially kick your ass, in whatever way I can, if you continue coming at me all the time, whatever. And that's what I consider an enemy to be. So that is not something you want me to be on. I am the nicest guy and the most loyal friend, which is number 16. I'm the most nicest person, loyal friend. I'm the best listener. You can talk to me for hours about your problems, and I will sit there and listen and actually be interested in hearing about what you have to say, because I actually am interested in human behavior and what people have to think about things and how things happen to people, whatever. And I have a lot of wisdom to impart and to give to other people. And I think that it's a gift I have, because I think that I understand I'm very empathic and empathetic, both. And so because of those things, I have a gift for helping people through situations, I think. And I've been told many times that I'm good at listening and I'm a good friend for those reasons. And not only those things, but also I am very loyal. If I am your friend, I am on your side. I'm right there behind you. I will stick beside you through thick and thin. If you're falling in freaking quicksand, I will help you out. If someone's trying to fuck with you, then they're fucking with me. You know what I mean? So I am a loyal friend, and I will be there till the end, until you fuck me over. And as I said, it says, if I am someone that will be a loyal friend for life, if you don't fuck it up first. And what I meant by that is although I'm loyal and although I am nice and kind, all those things I just mentioned, I am not a doormat, and I am not someone who will allow you to never reciprocate. A lot of people are takers, and people like me who are very kind, giving of themselves, whatever, and good listeners. Unfortunately, we often attract people who are users and people who just want to kind of suck the life out of you, suck your essence out, and just use you for all they can, even if they don't always know they're doing it. Their personality type is such that they just need to, because you're there, they'll do whatever they can to get what they can out of you, but they never reciprocate. If I need to talk to them about something, they don't listen. They don't pay attention when I'm talking to them. They act like, or they're not available when I need to talk to them, or they're not, they're not at the same level of friendship that I am. They're not giving the same amount. And so that is, to me, I'm sorry, that's done. I'm not gonna invest my time, my heart, my emotions, my love for a friend that doesn't reciprocate the same for me. So that's why I say, if you don't fuck it up first. So those are the 16 things that you may or may not know about your host from the Off Limits Show. I hope that you have learned something about me today. Hey, Grandpa Al, how's it going? Good morning to you, too. Thanks for visiting. Grandpa Al Kruska, I think that's how you say his name, is in the chat room. I'm not usually on this early, Grandpa Al. I'm actually never on this early. I'm usually on late at night, like 1 in the morning or something, Central Time. But today I'm up and about, and I'm I'm up because I haven't gone to bed yet. That's what I was saying at the top of the show. I haven't gone to bed yet, and this is not uncommon for me. I'm a night owl. I think I'll talk about that. Hold on one second. But I'm getting over a bit of a cold, so you'll have to excuse me if I cough in your ear. But so yeah, one more thing I was going to talk about, I guess, is the fact that I am such a night owl, and I have been all of my life. And I'll talk briefly about this. I've talked about it in previous shows, but I'll tell you, it is something that people don't actually know about, and even people who have the condition don't always know about it. It's called delayed sleep phase syndrome. It's a real condition that is actually medically proven, and actually people who have it often don't even know they have it. They can't explain why they can't get up at a normal time. And even with an alarm, they still feel, even if they get enough sleep. Let's say, for example, for me, okay, first let's explain what circadian rhythms are. Circadian rhythms are what your body tells you when you're supposed to go to sleep and you're supposed to wake up, okay? So when your body releases melatonin from your brain, okay, which makes you sleepy, and it starts to do that over, like usually when the sun goes down for most people, your body naturally begins to secrete melatonin to slowly start to put you to sleep and get tired as the sun goes down. Because in history, we as humans, we didn't have any reason, the cave days, to be awake at night, because that's when all the predators were out. So we were trying to be in caves and we'd be sleeping or whatever, and so that's why our bodies would go to sleep at night, and we would wake up during the day so we could actually forage for food or whatever, right? Okay. That's the way most people's brains are wired, to be that way. Well, with me, and with people who have delayed sleep phase syndrome, with us it's different. With us, we actually oftentimes have the reverse. So, and with me, I'm like that. So, for example, with me, when the sun is going down, I am waking up. And when the sun is coming up, I'm usually going to sleep and getting tired. And so my natural body cycle basically puts me to sleep, usually, around between 3 and 6 a.m. Okay, somewhere around there I'll go to sleep usually. And then I usually wake up around between 3 and 6 p.m., okay? I usually need about 10 hours sleep or so, somewhere in that range, to me to be completely happy without an alarm. Now, what do you do? The problem it creates is obviously that sleep cycle is very different than most people's sleep cycle, than most of society's sleep cycle. So obviously it creates an issue if you have to have like a 9-to-5 job or something like that. Fortunately, since I'm self-employed, I get to make my own schedule. I can make my appointments always in the afternoons. I always make my appointments in the afternoons if I can. And when I can't, I take a pill called melatonin, which is a naturally occurring substance you can get over the counter, and actually in the herbal. It's an herb, actually, or whatever. It still hasn't an herb, a supplement. So you need a supplement, like at Whole Foods or Walmart or whatever. And it puts me to sleep. I use about 10 milligrams when I need to do it. So when I have to get up, I set my alarm and I do that. And anyway, so it creates a lot of problems. So now, if I had to work for someone else, and I did, of course, up to my mid-20s, excuse me, I had to work for myself. And hold on one second. Sorry about that. Oh, God, sorry about that. I hope that's muting myself when I did that. Anyway, so if you had to work for like a normal job, which I did until my mid-20s, it was really hard for me. Now, even if I got 8 to 10 hours sleep, I still had to get up at, say, 5 a.m. in the morning or 6 or 7 a.m. in the morning. I still was exhausted until like noon or 1 o'clock in the afternoon, because my brain just was not wired to be awake that early. It doesn't matter how much sleep I got. So that's the difference with the delayed sleep phase syndrome, is that it doesn't really matter how much. It's not about how much sleep you get. It's about when you sleep. It's more about that. And people think that people with DSPS are lazy because oftentimes we sleep at inopportune times or whatever, or we sleep during the afternoon or during the evening and not in the morning. It has nothing to do with that, because we still sleep the normal amount of time. We still sleep 8 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours, whatever you may need personally. We still sleep the same amount of time. It's not that we're sleeping 24 hours a day or something. It's just that we have a hard time waking up. And a lot of kids have this as well, who can't actually deal with it. Grandpa Al says, he says, join the club. He says, I have had that all my life. In junior high, I had to take night classes, or I guess he was going to say, or it was a bad thing. Yeah. And so I fought through it. It literally is a fight. It is a fight. I don't know how to explain it to you. And there's many theories about things that you can try to, quote unquote, reset your brain. And I've done them all. One is that you can actually do what's called light therapy, where you have a light that wakes you up slowly and whatever. And I have an actual alarm that does that. It's called a progression alarm. And along with music, it plays softly or whatever. And actually, when the alarm goes off, it plays music. Before that, though, like half an hour before, it slowly has this bulb that slowly lights up, slower, and brighter. That actually, because when you're sleeping, your body, your eyes, you can still see, your eyes can still register light outside, even though you don't think you can. And so it slowly wakes you up. And it does help a little bit. I guess when I'm waking up, it helps me not to be abruptly awoken. But in terms of actually solving the problem, no. And there's also a study that says that you can actually stay up an entire 24-hour cycle. 1 hour, you go to bed 1 hour earlier every night than you normally would, and you wake up 1 hour later or something for 24 hours, so for 24 days in a row, until you get to the time you want to actually wake up. So, for example, if you normally go to bed at 6 a.m., you would go to bed at 7 a.m. instead, and wake up, at 4 or whatever. And then you go to bed the next day at 8 a.m., and the next day at 9 a.m., and until you get all the way around a 24-hour cycle. And then that supposedly may reset your clock. Now, I've done it 2 or 3 times in my life, that whole thing, that cycle thing. It doesn't work. Because what happens is, you will be... You get to the point where you actually do wake up at normal time, quote-unquote normal, but after a week or two of it, you naturally, your body pushes back and you start to fall right back in the same cycle again. Even if you try to stay on that schedule, you have a natural inclination and drive, I don't know how to explain it other than say to drive, to go to bed at a particular time and wake up at a particular time. It's a biological directive in your brain. So no matter what you do, it will always be that way. So there are things that people need to realize. If you have kids who suffer from this, who you may suspect suffer from this, then you definitely need to have them checked out, talking to a psychiatrist or therapist or doctor about it, and seeing if they do. And if they do, they need to make accommodations for your child, because actually it's becoming to the point where they're actually trying to get it passed as an actual disability, because it actually does impede people's from going to school or work or whatever. And there's really not much you can do about it. Excuse me. So that's what that is. He says in junior high, I had to take night classes or fall asleep in class. He says I have a dog that jumps up on me to wake me up. Well, that's nice. My dog is 12 years old, and he has arthritis, and he can't jump up on the bed. So he will come over and just stare at me. He needs to go outside or something, usually. But anyway, I guess that's all I'm going to talk about today on Brain Purge. I want to thank you, Grandpa Al Kruska, for joining me on Brain Purge today. I hope to see you on your show sometime. And be sure to check me out on offlimitshow.com. And also check out the other show that I'm on with David from the 5x5 and Ken Boggle from the Ken Boggle Show, called The Crew, thecrewshow.net. Also check me out on Facebook and on Twitter. Be sure to add me and follow me on Spreaker as well. And I hope to see you guys later. Thanks a lot. You have a great night. You too, Grandpa Al. Thanks. Bye.